Hi everyone. So today in this video I will walk you through how we deliver 50 plus creatives for brands and how we scale with them. So here it's not just making the creatives in quantity, but also looking into the which are the particular metrics that you should track to if you are making creatives at scale. You need to understand which creatives are working on your ad account, which are not. So there are few metrics definitely that we look into for any particular creative. So there are primary KPIs which comes your amount spent, your purchase, your ROAS, your cost per purchase. But are this the only metrics that you need to look into when you're judging the doing a creative analysis? Because this is just numbers, and if you're making the creatives, be it your creative team or be it the client, they don't just want to know that okay, from this creative I got performance, from this creative I did not. So that's where you actually need to go ahead and look into metrics that are storytelling KPIs, which are the metrics that will help you to understand the performance of the creative. Like, why is that creative performing, why is that creative not performing? So here are metrics and numbers, frequencies, your CPMs, your hook rate, your hold rate, your thumb stop ratios, outbound CTRs, outbound clicks, as well as your cost per click. So the first metric, if I let to know, is that I like to look into on my account level is the frequency. So ideally for every frequency I look into on a account level frequency. Is my frequency very high or low? But it's good to keep a track that is there any particular creative that is having very high frequencies. So suppose you're running it on a prospecting campaign and you see that your frequency has really got up like 4 to 5, then you need to look into why is that particular creative the frequency is so high, and because that can cross the other metrics to increase, like be it your CPAs or your CPCs, maybe that can increase. So having a look into that this kind of frequency and keeping a tap on that, you don't need to take any action, but just keep a look into that is very good, is very is on point. The next is looking on your CPMs. So CPMs is again something, a metric that you cannot control, but if your CPM, if your particular creative is having very high CPM, and you checked out all your breakdowns that okay, so in which is particular placement or which the particular age group because of which the CPMs is so high. So you also need to understand, is there any particular word on your primary text on your or on your creative because of which you're getting higher CPMs. So understanding that is important from the particular CPM. Next, there are metrics like hook rate, hold rate, or thumb stop ratio. So these are the key metrics that can help you to understand your creative performance. If the creative is having a low hook rate, like as you can see here in my benchmark on my account is around 25.87 for hook rate, but there are few creators and many creators I can see that are having a hook rate less than 25.8%. So what is the hook rate? Hook rate is someone how good your creators are to hook your audience for the first 3 seconds. So if the hook rate for the your creatives are less than account benchmark, then you need to know that okay, you need to work on your hooks, you need to make better hooks. And suppose if I see that okay, my hold rate is also below my account average, then again that means that people who are getting hooked, how long are you able to hold their attention? So identifying the creators which are having a lower hook as well as better hold rate, at that point of time I'll go ahead and see that if I can just tweak my hook, because my hold rate is already good. So when I'm going to plan the next iterations of the creatives, I will have my action point that for this creative I need to work on a better hook. The next thing is, if I see a creative which is having a good hook rate but not having a proper hold rate, then I need to know that where is my account, the video, in my video where is the place where people are dropping off. Is my video plays at 50% or 75 or 25, what is my average video watch time? So when I'm again looking into this metrics, then I also know that where I have to place my product. And if you suppose one of your creative has got rejected, or that you have to make the iteration of that particular creative, you just look into that okay, this is a place my most people are watching till now, so I have to make sure my product is getting introduced in that. If your video is getting rejected after 20 25% only. 25% of your video views are very high, and after that you see that okay, there is not a significant watch rate, and your average video time watch time is lesser than your 25% of the video, then you have to make sure that okay, how you can retain the attention of the customers after, even after 25%. So you have to make sure that your creative is actually communicating in that way, so you understand that okay, which is my next place to look into when I'm trying to make iterations of that particular video. The next is understanding the creative themes. So when you're working on accounts, suppose you are at a scale and you are also working on delivering them at a very high state number of creatives, you need to have a look on the creative themes. Which are the particular creative themes that is working well on the account? Identify creative themes which are having high conversion rates, higher ROAS, but maybe have not got better spends. Like if I see here, I can see okay, this weird hook is actually getting performance, but again there are creators like if you see this one, like benefit based or failed solutions, they have not spent significantly in this week, but the conversion rate is actually quite good, and I can see okay, it's at this point of time that ROI of an ROAS of 1.6 or 1.8. Maybe I can start pushing some of the creatives in this particular creative theme which has worked previously, or any new ideations, so I can leverage this particular winning theme and scale the account. So when you're doing understanding this kind of storytelling metrics as well as your video frames, you're actually understanding the performance of the creatives, which means that it is not just have if the creative has brought a performance or not, but it's about understanding that why that creative has worked, and if a creative has not worked, why that creative did not work. Now there are metrics like CTRs, CPCs. Again, these are metrics that you can have a look when you are testing a creative. So suppose you have launched the creative with a budget of around 1,000 or 2,000 rupees per day, and you did not notice that okay, that is having a very low CTR or a very high CPC, and you start scaling that particular creative, then that is a problem, because you're giving your Facebook a signal that yes, you are open to this kind of high CPCs. Now again, that causes a problem, because you need to keep a look that is your CTRs very much below or above the benchmark, or is it is your CPM, is it the CPC, or because if the CPCs are very low, that means maybe the kind of audience that is coming in from that particular creative is not aligned. So keeping a look on those metrics, and both CPM, CTR, and ultimately the CPCs will help you once you are starting to scale that creators, because initial days it may not be a problem, but if you scale a creative with a very high CPC, then that is going to be an issue for you. Next, once you're having a look into your creative themes and it's also important to look into different kind of breakdowns that is available in the meta dashboard itself. So I usually look into metrics like the gender, age, and placements. So it's not if I see that a particular age group is actually performing well, then I'll start launching in creatives into that particular age group only. That is not the thing that I would like to do, but what I like to do is I will try to cater and have the messaging to that. Suppose I'm having a particular product, and as the client, suppose I mentioned that hey, my target persona is very much into Gen Zs, or they are into 18 to 24 at that point of age group. But when you have actually launched the creative, you are seeing that no, the performance and the spends are actually going to a age group of 25 to 34. So whenever you are giving this kind of data backed results, it also helps the client to understand that he what is which particular target audience is actually looking into your creatives, and they are bringing in performance. And if you see that okay, your main performance is coming from maybe your 18 to 24, but your spends are going to 25 to 34, that means that okay, there's something wrong in the communication. So start calling out your target audience in the creators, like in the communication. For example, if I have a lipstick and I know it's for a Gen Z, I will try to use some Gen Z quotes in that to attract my new audiences with that kind of communication where they are relying to. Next is, suppose if you are selling a hair growth serum and it's for something for an age group of around 30s, that's where they have premature graying, or they are having frequent hair falls. So at that point of time, you need to call out that are you in your frequent, are you in your early 30s and facing hair fall. So the more clear the communication is, the better you have this kind of understanding that what is the age group. Now is it, if the creative you are making, it's delivering to the male audience, and you start using more male models. If you see that okay, my creatives are actually working well in the female audience, then you start looking into your female audiences. And that is how you need to understand that okay, is your target persona actually aligned with your audience, that you are trying to target through your creators. Because if you're not looking into this metrics, it what will happen is you are blank on why the creative has performed. Is the creative actually performing because it's catering to the ideal target customers, or you keep on calling out your Gen Z's but your audience is into 30s or 40s, so then that will not give you desired performance, or it will not, you'll not be ultimately able to scale the creatives. Next is which placements are delivering you better results. Now usually we start with an auto placement, and if you're not uploading your 1:1 as well as 9:16, you can notice that okay, like suppose a story creative story placements are actually performing better for you, but you're not uploading a 1:1, you're not uploading a 9:16 creative, then that means that maybe you're not optimizing for that particular creative. So if you know that okay, which particular placements are delivering better results, maybe you can have a particular different ad set for that, specifically for the reels or the story placements. And that this kind of metrics, again, you know that okay, if I'm making the next set of creatives, I'm always planning the action point, like how to outline and how to scale in the next steps. Next, why do you need this creative analysis? So as I mentioned, so every metric here or every analysis here is actually aimed to understand the way forward. The more clear you are that which creatives are working on your ad account, what are their metrics, and you have the benchmark of them, you know that what are the next kind of creatives you need to make. You can actually make a template of those creators which are giving you benchmark performance, as well as they are driving the growth of the brand. Then you have a template, you have a winning template, and you can start implementing that for other winner products, or also in the same product, but maybe different kind of variations. You can use AI voiceover, you can use a human voiceover, you can use a background color change, and many elements that I can explain in another post. But is there how to iterate, and if the creative is working, do you keep that creative on or off, even if if your CTRs are quite off the metric, or your hook rate and hold rate is very bad. So understanding that. Next is, if you have launched 10 creatives and none of them has actually worked, so you need to ideally go back to your whiteboard and start doing things on the scratch. The better and the faster that you can do this, it's better for you to understand that okay, where is my ideation going wrong, where to look forward for better references, where to understand the product benefits, or my audience persona. Next, why did ultimately all these answers give you the answer of the question, why did this creative perform, or why did this creative not perform? As a media buyer, it's not just important to know that why the creative perform, but understanding your failures and why something is not performing is equally important. Hope this video helps you, and you can start delivering more. Hope this creative helps you, and looking forward to connect. Thank you.